Hi, and welcome to this short practice, which is really designed to wake yourself up. So you crawl out of bed in the morning, you're all a bit stiff. These are my go-to moves first thing in the morning once I crawl out of bed, and I wanted to share them with you. So you might need a block or even just a cushion to sit on for seated parts. Otherwise, just yourself, either your mat, or even you can probably do this on the carpet in your bedroom. So we'll get started laying down in Shavasana. So coming down to lay onto your backs. It might be you need to keep the knees slightly bent when you first come down in the morning. Bring your palms to rest onto your belly and just close your eyes for a moment. Settling in and starting to notice your breath. So with the hands on the belly, you might notice that little rise and fall as you breathe. Just try and allow your body to soften. Couple of deep breaths here, trying to breathe in through the nose if it's possible, and sigh the air out. Inhale through the nose, exhale, sigh it out. One more inhale. Sigh out. And then bring your knees into your chest, taking your hands around your knees, give yourself a little squeeze and bring a little rock in side to side, rolling over your back. Let the head slightly move side to side as well. Rolling yourself back to center. You can keep the hands on the knees, just take them a little bit further away from your belly, send them slightly round to the left and circle them round to the front and round to the right and then back into the chest. So now rolling out the lower back, maybe even slightly onto the side of the hip. You can bring your hands down by the side of the body and use a little bit of core strength to roll, or maybe you need to use your hands to support your legs first thing. And circling in the other direction. So where you feel that little bit of sensitivity as you roll around in your back or your hips, that's usually a sign there's a little bit of tightness, so just gently rolling it out. Then we're going to bring the knees back to center, take the knees and the feet a little bit wide apart and start to circle into your ankles. So the ankle joints, or most of the joints when we first get up, can be a little bit sticky. So get a little bit of movement, wiggle the toes as well, and reverse the direction of your circles. And then pausing with your feet, bring your knees towards your armpits, and you might be able to reach through your legs and hold the outside of your feet for your happy baby, bringing the feet towards the sky. You might be preferring to hold on to your shins. It can be quite nice to hold on to the back of the hamstrings. So we're just drawing the knees down, slight tuck of your chin, and try and lengthen your tailbone down the mat. And you might bring a little rock in side to side, or maybe you stay in center. One more breath here. And then bring your soles of your feet together. Maybe you can hold onto the outside of your feet, or maybe you're holding onto your shins. And then try and draw your feet in towards your body as you send your knees away from you. Our reclined cobblers. Now you might like to bring a little wiggle of your hips side to side. A little bit of gentle movement rather than long static holds. Wiggling our way in. And then we're going to release hold of the feet, bringing your knees over your hips, shins parallel to the ground, your feet, toes are tucked back towards the face, and bring your palms onto your thighs. Now we're going to try and keep the knees exactly where they are as you push your hands into your thighs. So you're trying to push your legs away, but you don't let them move, and you'll feel all the core muscles turning on. Try and stay relaxed for your shoulders and your neck. Breathing here, just activating the core, getting a little bit of fire going. If it's enough being here and just holding your legs up, you can take your hands around the back of your legs to support them. 2 more breaths. And we release the feet down to the ground. Take your feet nice and wide, and then start to windscreen wiper your knees side to side. So rolling across the lower back again. And then the next time that your knees drop over to the left, let them drop over to the left. Bring your right arm into a cactus position, or you can have the arm long, and you might turn your head to look over to the right. 2 big breaths here. Bring the knees back through center, and then take the knees over to the other side. Your left arm can come out to a cactus, right hand can rest on the belly, and maybe you look over to the left. And take 2 really deep breaths. And then bring your knees back through center, realign your spine. So options, we're going to come up to sit. If your back's feeling really tender, then just roll over to your side, use your hands to guide you up. If you're ready for a bit more energy, bring the knees in, give them a squeeze, crossing over your ankles. And you can either hold onto legs or arms out to the sides. Use a little momentum, lifting yourself up and then rocking yourself back down. Taking a few rounds, maybe 3 or 4, rolling up and down the spine. And then coming up to seated. So here you might like to sit onto a block or a cushion to help you raise the hips if you need. Coming to a cross-legged position. So if your hips are quite tight, staying in a regular cross-legged position. If they're still too tight to be there first thing, have your legs out in front of you. Or you can also stack outside of ankles if you're feeling a bit more looser in your hips. So just finding a way to this comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up. And as we exhale, take your left hand down to the mat, leaning over to the left. Your right arm reaches up and over. And then just turn your head so you're looking down past your bottom shoulder to the mat. Really let the head be heavy. Keep sending your right hip down into the mat. 1 more breath here. And then inhale, lifting yourself up through center and take it over to the other side. So as you lean over, the opposite hip tries to ground down. Turn the head so you look down to the mat by your bottom shoulder. Release the head, release the neck. Breathing deeply into the side body. On your next breath, inhale, reach up through center, and then exhale and twist over to the left side. Taking your other arm down behind you, might be on the fingertips or the palm down, opposite hand to opposite leg, and just gently draw yourself round. You might turn to look over the back shoulder and keep lifting through the crown of your head. Starting to loosen up through the ribs. On your next inhale, reach up through center, grow tall, and then exhale, twist to the other side. So opposite hand to opposite thigh or knee. The other hand comes behind you and try and sit up as tall as you can. Lift through the crown of your head. Use that hand on the leg to gently guide you, but don't force yourself round. On your next inhale, bring yourself up through center and then release the hands down to heart center. Just releasing your hands, and then we're going to tilt the head over, so taking your left ear to left shoulder. And then you can bring your left arm up and gently rest it on the top side of your head. And then take your right fingertips down towards the ground. They might only just reach there. I find it quite nice to close my eyes when stretching the neck. And then you can walk with your right fingertips on the floor, forward and back, and just notice the change in the sensation in the neck. One more breath here. Picking the hand off the floor first and just gently lifting the head back, return to center. Maybe slightly turn the head one side and the other, just really to let that side go. Head back to center and tilt the right ear to right shoulder. Right arm comes up and over and rests the top side of the head. And then your left hand, fingertips come down to the ground. Maybe you close your eyes. And then you can walk your fingertips around on the floor, forward and back, noticing the places of sensation. And it might be that there's a place that you pause at with those fingertips, or you just keep them moving gently forward and back. And then we'll release the hand from the floor to the knee. Lift the hand off the head, gently bring it back to center. And move the head a little side to side. A couple of rolls of your shoulders back and down. And then coming over to all fours. Roll yourself over, stacking your hips over your knees, hands over your wrists. Shoulders over your wrists. Bring a little tuck into your toes, start to wake up into the feet. We'll come into our cat-cows. So as you inhale to your cow, drop the belly, lift the crown, lift the tail. As you exhale, round the spine, dropping the crown of your head. Take 2 or 3 more rounds, moving with your own breath. So starting to really articulate and wake up into the spine. We're going to pause on a final cat with the back rounded, the head dropped, the tailbone tucked under. And once you find this cat, bring the tiniest of little circles in, moving your torso. And circle tiny little circles in the other direction. Really allow the head to be heavy. And then bring yourself back to a neutral spine. From here, tops of the feet to the ground and sitting back onto your heels. Now if this isn't comfortable, you can place a blanket under your knees and your ankles. If it's still not comfortable, you can place some blocks to give a bit more space for the knee joint, or just come and sit any other way that you'd like to sit. From here, bring your forearms together, interlace your hands, and then start to circle into your wrists. And circling in the other direction. And then keeping the fingers interlaced, send your palms forward, your arms are at shoulder height. Really send the palms forward to open between the shoulder blades and slightly tuck your chin. If you'd like to add on here, rotating through the rib cage side to side. Bring yourself back to center. Then cactusing the arms, so arms to shoulder height, goalpost or cactus your arms. Send your elbows backwards, opening across the chest. Take a couple more breaths there. Or if you'd like to add on here, you can send your hands behind you, interlace them. See if you can start to straighten the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and maybe the hands come away from the lower back. For some shoulders, this can be a bit much first thing in the morning, so maybe you keep with the cactused arms. Wherever you are, one more breath. And then gently release. Take a couple of shoulder rolls backwards and also forwards. Lifting out of your legs and just stepping back with your right foot, pushing back through the calf, pushing back through the heel to get into the calf. And then swap legs. Left foot goes back, push back through the heel. And then return back onto your knees, this time bringing a nice tuck into your toes, and we're either going to sit back onto the heels. If that is too much, maybe you're bringing your block or a cushion in to sit down onto. If it's still too much, you can stay high and just lean back to get that sensation in your feet. Then take both your arms forward, your right elbow under left, and you might wrap your arms up into your Garudasana arms, or you're holding onto your shoulders. Now, whichever place you are, trying to lift your elbows to shoulder height. If you're in your Garudasana arms, send your hands away from your face and slightly tuck your chin, whichever version you're in. One more breath here. And then unravel, both hands back out in front. Left elbow under right. Again, wrapping the arms up to your Garudasana arms, sending your hands away from your face, or holding onto your shoulders, send your elbows away from you. Gentle tuck of the chin again. Breathing into the space between your shoulder blades. If you need to come out of your feet at any time, do. One more breath. And then unravel arms, move any props off to the side. Hands to the ground, gently untuck your toes and bring a little tapping in, tops of the feet to the ground. From here, walk your hands a little bit further forward, spread out wide through your fingers, trying to push down through your palms. Tuck the toes and lifting our hips to our downward dog. When you come into this first downward dog, start to pedal out through the feet, bending one knee, then the other knee. Maybe you gently shake your head as if you're saying no to your knees. So you might stay with movement in your downward dog if it's early in the morning, or maybe you start to find some stillness, starting with a little bend into the knees to melt the chest towards your thighs. Then you might start to straighten into the legs. For many of us, we might keep a little bend into the knees. Try and send your shoulder blades towards your hips. Keep grounding through your palms. One more breath here. And on the next breath, slightly bend your knees, look between your hands, and slowly walk your feet up towards your hands, coming into a forward fold here. Now you might in the morning want to take your feet a little bit wider for a bit more space. Bend in the knees as you need, dropping the torso down. Create a little fist with your hands and tuck them into the opposite elbow crease for your ragdoll. So you might pause in center, or you might swing your torso around your legs. Then release your fingertips towards the ground and slowly roll yourself all way up to stand. Once you lift up, roll your shoulders back and down. Take the feet a little bit wider. Softness into your knees and starting to swing the torso round. As you swing the torso one way, the opposite heel can lift. Just allow your arms to be loose and floppy. Depending on how energized you want to be, you can really speed this up, or you can keep it quite slow and gentle. And then start to let the movement settle back down. And come back to your Tadasana, feet hip distance apart. Roll the shoulders back and down, lift through the crown of the head. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms forward and up, reach towards the sky. You might slightly lift the gaze in the chest. As we exhale, hands through heart center, hinge at the hips all the way down to forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, pause. You might have softness in your knees. Push your palms into your shins, lengthen your crown from your tail. Take one more inhale here, and on the exhale, drop the hands down to the ground and step it back to a plank if you're feeling super energized. And you can pause there or drop the knees to the ground for half plank. Couple of breaths here. And then wherever you are, slowly lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Once you arrive, palms under your shoulders, tops of the feet to the ground. As you inhale, peel up to a low cobra. And then exhale down. 2 more like that. Inhale, peel up. Exhale down. Inhale, peel up. Exhale down. Tuck your toes, push into your hands, lift to your half plank on your knees. And then bring yourself into your box position, your tabletop. Take your knees as wide as the edges of the mat, tops of the feet to the ground. Sink your hips back, dropping the forehead down to your child's pose. Option here to close your eyes. Wiggle the hips back and down. Find your breath. One more breath here. And then walking your hands in, lifting yourself up. And bringing yourself round to sit onto your bottoms. Again, you can have legs crossed, or maybe you take the legs out long. And you might want to sit up onto a block or a cushion. Just find your comfortable seat. Then inhale the arms out wide and exhale the hands to heart center. Take 2 more big breaths like this. Inhale, reach out wide, reach tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feel free to close your eyes now. And exhale, hands to heart center. Pausing here, finding our Anjali Mudra, palms at heart center. Thumbs lightly rest onto the chest, sitting up tall and proud. Just take a moment here. Notice how you're feeling, how the body feels, how the mind feels. What emotions are present? Based on how you're feeling, set a little intention for your day. Any intention that feels right for you. take one big round of breath together. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out. From my heart to yours, Namaste.